Welcome to Horror Movies with TNA. Each episode, we're going to pick a film, talk about it, and rate it. Word of warning, there will be spoilers. This week, we're talking about
Exploitation classic Turkey Shoot from '82.
Are we going to talk about the shadow boxer?
I want to taste your honey.
Right up the Ritter. Come on.
Come on, don't be bashful. Some idle chit chat,
sound of the Mister on. Put this ramble at the beginning because it's take a shoe, take it, shoot, take it. How do you want to start this shit?
I want to start by saying the movie we're going to talk about today is the 1982 film Turkey Shoot, aka Escape 2000.
Yes.
Also,
does that mean Escape the year 2000 or... Actually, I can't think of what else
it means Escape 2000 because it was filmed in 82, so it's a look at the bleak look at the future. Bleak look at the future.
Do you say oblique? Do you mean oblique?
Oblique.
Do you mean oblique when you say oblique?
A bleak look at the future.
Right. I thought you said oblique. Oblique.
Well, is it an odd angle?
Yeah, an angled. Why is it an oblique angle? Actually,
it's isn't that
is it more or less than 30 degrees?
No, 90s. Whether it's obtuse and oblique. It's also known as Blood Camp Thatcher.
Yes, I've heard that rumour.
Directed by Brian Trenchard Smith, who also directed Night of the Demons, BMX Bandits, another kind of exploitation film,
and who was in BMX Bandits.
Nicole Kidman.
Yep.
Leprechaun 3 and 4, and he also directed the 2014 remake of Turkey Shoot, Elimination Game. Yes, and I did watch a bit of it.
I did not know that.
Yes, I watched a bit of the film. It appeared to be
on video
unwatchable.
Oh, that's a shame, because this film is not unwatchable.
I have to say, I didn't watch all of it. I just kind of dipped into it, and it didn't seem very good. It didn't seem anywhere near as entertaining.
Did you just put the tip in?
Yes, I just dipped my tip. So, Brian Trenchard Smith, director, stars of the film, Olivia Hussey. Olivia Hussey. Olivia Hussey as Chris Walters. Actually, interestingly, a little fact about Olivia Hussey. She was in Black Christmas as a film.
Yeah, great film.
She was also married to Dean Martin's son. I thought that was interesting.
What's Dean Martin's son called?
Mr. Martin to you.
Dean Martin Jr. Right.
Linda Stoner as Rita. Steve Railsback as Paul Anders. Now, he was in Trick or Treats, and he was also in The Wind, a Nico Mastorakis film. He's the guy that directed Island of Death, another kind of
and we maybe one
video
we'll
nasty.
That. Was Steve Railsback in any other Australian films?
No, I didn't really see, but he was
in Mad Max ones.
No, I don't think. Okay. Well, maybe I may have missed that. He was in Michael Gray as Thatcher, Roger Ward as the amazing Ritter. He was Ritter was also in Young Einstein. He was in Mad Max. We've got Steve Rackman, who played Alf. We will get to him definitely later on. And Red, the guy with the whip, which we'll talk about. Gus Mercurio. I didn't really see anything else he was in.
What about, did you mention John Lee, who played Dodge?
No, you mentioned him.
That's it. Well, no, there was John Lee, and I did have to look him up, because he's in the list, he's not the first one. But there's a bloke with big bottle glasses on.
Yes, he's got very thick glasses on.
And a very awful ginger bleach.
Yeah, and again, of the 5 that go part of the hunt, he's one of the main characters. Music by Brian May, but not the Brian May.
What? Can I talk about exploitation, or are you going to?
You may.
So, Brian Trenchard Smith. So, Brian Trenchard Smith did a lot of exploitation films in the 80s. There is a documentary called Not Quite Hollywood, made in 2008-ish, I think it was, that goes on about all the films that were made there. But he was a big player in making this kind of stuff. And you know, without giving too much away again, everything he made was sort of entertaining, sort of action-y, kind of crazy crap that just ripped off Hollywood. That's it. Anything that's got exploitation attached to it, watch it. Black exploitation, Ozploitation, sexploitation even. Because normally they're just fun films that are inventive. So watch it.
they're not really bad taste. They're just entertaining.
Like the Russ Meyer films that everyone goes, oh, but it's generally the women are in control. It's generally always entertaining, if nothing else.
So the year is 2000. This is the future. There's some footage, the future, rioting in the streets. Society's gone to shit. Interspersed with that, there's some actual real footage of people being beaten and rioting, which is probably the worst bit about the film, really.
Yeah, right in the beginning titles, apart from the turkey shoot going, documentary footage of riots and police brutality.
There's
one
cases.
really bad bit where the guy's on the floor with a helmet on and he's just getting smacked in the face with a shield.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's not going to.
Yeah. Anyway, so that kind of gives you a feel of what society's like in the year 2000. A prisoner van delivering 3 new inmates. We get a backstory, a bit of a flashback of one of the characters, again, the Chris, who's played by Olivia Hussey, where they break into I think she's in some kind of store, isn't she? And the guy kind of says...
Jewelry store, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fucking bullshit.
And she doesn't like the fact that a guy's being beaten, but a guy kind of says, keep out of it, sweetheart, it's state business.
Cut to the chase. It's a waste of fucking time, this backstory. I think they must have done this after the fact and thought, well, why are these people in a van going to a prison? They didn't need to explain it, really. Whether they were guilty or not, who gives a shit?
Yeah, I mean, they believe she's friends of some kind of sympathizer.
Yeah.
So we're led to believe, really, she's completely innocent, this Chris Walters. Then we get this story of Paul Anders. He's fighting the establishment. He is a sympathiser. He's been through the system.
But he's broadcasting system. Did you say?
He's fighting against he's been through the system.
He's broadcasting, isn't he, on a wavelength? Probably.
He's trying to send out a message.
Yeah, because there's no digital in 2000. You'll find.
So he's trying to fight against the establishment, and they break in and arrest him. So that
kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
But
Rita, who's the other prisoner, she doesn't get a backstory at all. Basically, she's just there. She makes a comment later on about why she's there, but it doesn't give her any kind of backstory.
She just says, they locked me up, they thought I was a prostitute. I'm not. And that's as much as you know, really. No.
They're being delivered to Camp 47, and on the sign when it goes in, it says re-education and behaviour modification. Your stay here will make you an asset to society. Welcome. They're going to be undergoing... What are they undergoing? I don't know. They're undergoing some... Yeah, they're going to undergo some kind of treatment to... I'm trying to think of
Sort them out.
Sort them out.
Yeah, that's it. Rehabilitate.
Yes. Yes. The camp looks a bit like a poor man's Eden project or something off MASH.
Generally, the old place is a dust bowl in the middle of a forest with some corrugated iron hangers that get blown up later on. I'm sorry, I've jumped to the end.
Oh, the end. I'll give it about 12 out of 10. Instantly, as they arrive in camp, we see a prisoner try to escape under the arriving van. He's very close to the wheels as well. He jumps underneath.
Oh no, this is a stunt that's a bit fucking dodge.
Straight away, we're introduced to one of the sadistic guards, Whip Dude, Red.
But it looks like it was dubbed or overdubbed.
Yes.
So it's not like they're in sync with their voices, but you think it's like an Italian film.
Red, the guy that wields the whip, some of the things he says, come on, my little children. Come on, don't be bashful. Come on, right over here, my diddle darling. Whip, cracker the whip.
So he keeps doing it, but this is where it's awful acting, apologies. And I think there's a bit of dubbing, because you know when you get it in, like, spaghetti westerns, where you go, yeah, I don't know about you, but this guy don't... But it's unusual, isn't it, at certain points?
Yeah.
With the dubbing.
Yeah.
And that makes the acting feel worse, because when you have to overdub acting, as we well know as actors,
Yeah.
it gets...
And actually, the acting in this film is reasonably good. So it actually makes it slightly worse.
What?
Well, I don't think the acting's too bad.
Hussy. I'm going to rewind to Hussy.
She just, all the way through it, looks
Just
a little bit nervous and frightened, doesn't she?
Oh, no.
She
Just
does
my
say...
head in. Sorry.
Right.
There's only one good bit of acting towards the middle of the end where it looks like she's had enough of the entire film and she's crying her eyes out. But otherwise, she's
Is that the most realistic
fucking
bit?
terrible.
Whip crack. So the new prisoners get introduced to the ways of the camp, and then we get introduced to these kind of the camp commandants, if you want, who are running the place. Charles Thatcher, he seems like the head man. Tito.
Bloke with eyeliner.
Jennifer.
Dynasty lady.
And we've got Secretary Mallory.
Hitchcock. Belland.
And they watch on as the prisoners are subjected to all manners of brutality. Who are the guys that are going to be involved with this hunt? Yes, that's exciting. Thatcher and Mallory hand the prisoners to each other like they're collecting Pokemon cards. And then, getting hot, my little flower, is it? Are you starting to wilt? That's a red again. He keeps saying head down, ass up as well. Now it's Ritter time. This is the first time we get to see...
Jesus Christ. I mean, well, having said that, it's
really
one of
good.
the funniest things I've ever seen.
Ritter is probably by a country mile the best thing about the film, I think. He's a really tall guy, moustache, bald head, and his overalls, his outfit is 2 sizes too short as well. And it seems throughout the film like he's fidgeting in it. He's pulling out of his ass crack. So that's quite funny. This is the first time we also get to see Charles Thatcher outfit. It looks like the Tin Man. He's got a very, it's something to behold. It's amazing. He's the camp master.
He definitely is the camp master.
He's a camp master. He goes and talks to the new prisoners, and he reels off Paul Anders' list of places he's kind of like a Steve McQueen character, isn't he? He constantly escapes from other camps. So he lists off the escape from Camp 42. He also escaped from the B-Mod Urban Centre, so they already know that there's going to be a bit of conflict there because this Anders is already trying to escape. Thatcher asks Ritter to put on a bit of a show for the new prisoners.
To be honest, this is the funniest bit out of the entire film. This is like meekest, tiniest little woman.
He asks her to recite some kind of mantra.
I just put hilarious shadowboxing while the tiny girl says, right, so she has to go, I'm a deviant and some other shite. Sorry. Just keep going. And for some reason, and he just keeps going really near her face, going, shh, shh, shh. I'm pretending to punch. Shh, 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 shh. But he keeps tapping around her, which is hilarious. And you're thinking, you all right, mate?
I mean, he obviously is trying to apply some kind of pressure, and he's being merciless because he's punching quite close to her face.
You wouldn't give a shit. You just close your eyes and go, all right.
She's exhausted by the end of it.
Yes, but this is so you're laughing at this hilarious bit because it is fucking shh shh shh. I'm a deviant. Shh 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 shh. And he keeps making the noise of shh.
And then he beats her to a bloody pulp at the end, which is not quite.
Well, he doesn't punch her though. He's doing shadowboxing, but then he just grabs and goes and just slaps her.
It kind of slaps her around the face, yeah.
Which you don't see much, luckily. But then you see her bleeding afterwards, and he's such a massive bloke when he lays into you. Go, ooh,
yeah,
it's a bit wrong, isn't it?
It's a wrong one, but not up
bloody Ritter.
But not up the wrong one. We meet Dodge, that you've already mentioned. He's a slimy piece of shit. So he's the kind of bottle-top glassed guy who's a bit of a sneaky prisoner.
And he's got a tiny little bit of Weetabix or something.
He's always got almost like in the tradition of an old martial arts film. He's got like a wart on his side. They straight away. Paul Anders falls out with the camp and he gets caged. Then 20 minutes in, we meet again Tito and Jennifer, camp commandants, if you like, and they start to talk about this idea of the hunt, where they're going to hunt the prisoners. They start to choose different prisoners that they want. There's this mantra throughout the film, which I wrote down, which is disobedience is treason. Treason is a crime. Crime will be punished.
Whoa. What they say is the reverse. Freedom is obedience. Obedience is work. Work is life. And he goes, the opposite of this would be disobedience is treason. Well, no, that's not the opposite.
Treason is crime. Crime will be punished.
It literally isn't the opposite, is it?
Our prisoner that we saw from the beginning of the film, who hid himself under the arriving van, didn't escape. He gets dragged back. Ritter and a ball full of gasoline. So
Two balls.
Two balls. Ritter hands 2 balls to the prisoner. This is a demonstration to illustrate to the prisoners, if you try and escape, this is what's going to happen to you. So Ritter hands the prisoner these balls full of gasoline to the guy. They set fire to a gasoline-soaked prison.
But this is the hilarious bit. And again, another reason why I carried on watching. Ritter, he gets his money worth. He goes, is everyone ready?
He's a ringmaster.
Well, he's got the tash for it. But he goes, is everyone ready? And obviously the prisoner's going, yeah. He goes, no, is everyone ready?
Yeah, he tries to G up the crowd, doesn't he?
He tries to do a Mexican wave and all sorts. Just before they burn someone alive.
The prisoner has to kind of juggle these gasoline-filled balls, and eventually there's gasoline everywhere, and they set fire to him, quite brutal in a way, and they burn the prisoner alive. It's an example of what will happen to you if you try and escape. Tito, watching on, beats the hell out of network television. So, one of the prisoners has been made an example. A brutal game of gasoline ball. That's brutal.
Everybody ready? That's what he says. You know what I mean? Right up the Ritter. Come on.
Disobedience is treason. Treason is a crime. Crime will be punished.
Red and some of the guards turn up and attack Anders. And Red, remember our whip-cracking guy, attempts to rape Chris. But she traps his little Red in his zipper.
I wasn't so clever, I just said it traps his plonker.
And what a plonker it was. Ritter arrives and breaks things up before Red has chance to retaliate. End of scene. Well done, Adam. Tito, Thatcher and Mallory shoot a prisoner to try out his gun. They're kind of casually sat, and Mallory says, do you mind if I try out my gun? And as the prisoners stroll past, he shoots one, which just demonstrates they consider these prisoners as little or nothing.
Yeah, he just says, help yourself, shoot who you want. Carry on.
We've got Tito, Thatcher and Mallory. Jennifer arrives to make it a quartet of dicks. We then...
This is amazing. This is one of the best things I've ever seen in a film ever.
Yeah, maybe. It's the most unexpected. So then Tito says, I found him in a circus. A hairy 8-wolf man breed. a hairy 8-wolf man hybrid. So this is where we get introduced to Alf.
Whatever we could say does not explain what the fuck. Look up Turkey Shoe top hat freak. But he's got a top hat, never wears it again. The first time you meet him, got a top hat on as well.
Yeah.
Very hairy, got goat eyes. I mean, a freak, fine, but why would he have...
You can't, I don't think you can explain any of it, but that's okay.
It's absolutely a bullshit.
Crazy, but great, brilliant.
Anyway, and he's got a waistcoat.
Yes, he looks dapper.
Oh no, it does. He's got a... But I will say he's a very hairy bloke.
He's very good suit. Tito, introduce him to him. He's got him chained
Tito,
up.
eyeliner bloke, because I know him.
Yes, he looked a little bit like the fourth member. You know, Superman 2, 3. He looks like the fourth member of that evil,
but not as beefed up.
A mixture of General Zod and the lady off it.
It wasn't the big bloke.
Yeah, there's the quicker and easier way to describe him.
Quite effeminate as well. I think in the film he's probably meant to be gay, but it's not explicitly said, but implicitly,
Maybe
probably,
without
but God
knowing
knows.
it, maybe Alf the Hairy Man is his lover.
And that's fine. Well,
You-
that's fucking terrible. That's one of the worst drawings ever. Fucking. Why you put a fucking? How do you spell it out?
that's how it was spelled.
Oh, is it?
On either the subtitles or the write-up.
Oh.
ALPH. Chris, Rita, Paul, Dodge, and Griffin. We haven't really talked about Griffin yet, but we'll get to him.
Is this a film title?
Yeah, no.
Rita, Chris, and Bob too.
Yeah, so these 5 prisoners are given passes to get out of the place. Adios, Camp 47. Thatcher hands them all out passes to say, you can leave now, but there's going to be a little hunt. Oh, you little hunt. Thatcher says, if you are still free by sundown, you're free to go. Paul Anders suspects there's a catch to this, and he's probably right, because we're only 35 minutes in. Jennifer demos her exploding crossbow arrows,
Which only make an appearance right near the end.
Yeah, tiny little scene where she's sat and she's just demoing her exploding crossbow just to set it up for later in the film. Well, then they had a scene where the camp prisoners are being fed food, and the food is definitely green and red jelly in a big bowl, which I thought was really cool. Because I wouldn't mind going to a camp if it was jelly.
I don't like jelly.
Well,
I never liked it as a kid either. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
but if you're having jelly, it's all that kind of, this is a nice place.
Get fucked.
Hunt time. We've gone through the first half of the film, really, where it's been shown the brutality of the camp, and you've had top-hatted Alf, you've got all that, but now, really, the second half is all about talking about the hunt, which generally I didn't think was as much fun as life in camp, actually, but this is where we get into the business of the hunt.
Well, they're both mental. And by the way, Thatcher does mention that Griffin is for execution. So it's which I didn't really get. So all the rest,
Griffin
we're not
was
going to kill.
So,
but him, we really are.
Yeah, and we should mention Griffin. We haven't mentioned him yet because he doesn't really play much of a part. But Griffin is like quite a big, burly member of the prisoners who, throughout the film up to this point, has been looking at ways to escape. In fact, Paul Anders even mentions, "Do you want to team up so we can escape?" And it turns out that he's part of this team that's going to be hunted of the 5. So that's why we hadn't kind of mentioned him. Yes. Yeah, so I got this. So
here we go.
Here, listen to this. I've done.
Do I have to?
No, listen.
Oh, we're good. No, I won't.
I've done like a diagram for this. Right, so listen. Tito with Alf, his hairy mate, hunting Dodge with the glasses in his mounted mini digger.
In a digger.
They're in a machine gun mounted mini digger. Boom.
Yes. Wobbers all over the place. Looks like if you went down a tiny incline, you'd be on
It's
your
going to go
arse.
over.
Yeah.
We've got Commandant Thatcher in a big stupid red car.
It looks like, do you remember Big Track? Anyone that remembers Big Track, it's like a big red version of that.
A poor man's version of that.
No, with no one pressing the buttons on the top of the car.
So he's hunting Paul and Griffin. Paul Anders.
You've literally made a diagram.
Yes. Thatcher, big stupid red car, is hunting Paul and Griffin. Pistol-toting Mallory, he's got Red and Ritter in tow because he wants to get with Chris.
Oh.
Then we've got Jennifer on horseback with a crossbow after Rita. So the hunt has...
I'm just saying.
So the hunt has begun.
Anyway, Brian May's music. When the hunt kicks off, I mean, the music's all over the fucking
Have you seen
shop.
it where I wrote there?
Music is mental.
Yeah, the initial bit, I don't know if I'm doing the
No, you're not.
introduction to Popcorn, it sounds exactly like that.
Well, that's
Brian
in the 70s,
May
isn't it?
ripped off
I
Hot
don't
Butter's
think he
Popcorn. Remember from Shriek of the Mutilated?
It's just mental. Anyway, the music, it's sort of orchestra and then electronic and over the top and then underplayed. And did Brian May do the Mad Max film? I think he did a lot of exploitation films again.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
So, yeah, but because I think Mad Max music isn't great. Even Mad Max 2 isn't great. But this music isn't great either. It isn't great.
Dodge, remember Dodge, glasses, gets jumped immediately by Toto within about the first 2 minutes of the hunt. I mean, they give them a head start.
I know.
But within a couple of minutes, Dodge, what the fuck he's been doing, but he already gets jumped.
Ding, 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 ding.
Dodge gets jumped immediately by Toto with Alf in tow.
Twat. No one else understands the joke.
Yes, Alf eats one of his little toes. Tito says, makes the hunt more interesting. Because they let him go again then. Chopped on his toe.
Yeah, but then he carries on running, which you don't see because there's a lot of in parallel cutting now. I always hate in parallel cutting.
Yeah, it switches to a lot of different situations because you've got 4 or 5 different situations going on in parallel, so it keeps switching to the different.
So anyway, Dodge gets his little toe snapped off and then eaten by Top Hat Freak. But then it cuts back. In the interim, you're guessing that Dodge is running around for fucking ages. But then it keeps cutting back to other ones, which are not as interesting, to be quite honest with you.
No, there's bits that I think it loses a bit of momentum.
Yeah, it does this bit. It does. Especially the shooting, when Thatcher's shooting at
yeah, so we've got
Paul. It's awful, that
there's a bit where Red, the whip-cracking prison guard, gets jumped by Griffin, and he grabs the gun off Red. And then we have this kind of gunfight where Griffin, Jennifer and Thatcher engage in a bit of a gunfight, and that's really boring, to be honest.
I know, she just keeps putting lots of arrows in Griffin.
I quite like the fact that he was kept getting arrows stuck in him, but generally that whole gunfight scene...
I mean, it was good arrows. That's what they're saying.
Thank you.
Darts, good arrows.
Griffin's full of arrows because he's been shot by Jennifer, and then Thatcher runs over him with his little red truck.
That's all right, and that's my little picture there.
Then we go back to Dodge. I think the actor was a wrestler.
Definitely. I'm glad you picked up on this.
Yeah, he was a wrestler.
Because he gets hold of Dodge and does all the body slamming and spins him around.
And again,
I think there's even a trampoline where they put him because
he kind of jumped. Yeah.
There's a bit of a recess where the grass is that they kind of throw Dodge, John Lee, the actor, and he just keeps throwing him in that. And then he does a backbreaky thing. I don't know, it's proper technical term. What's it called when they do that?
In the DC comics, Bane broke Batman's back like that. It was me.
Yeah, whatever that's called. Anyway, but there's a shitload of wrestling. Dodge dies.
Yes, so Dodge is gone and Griffin has gone. Although he gets carted back to the camp later on and hung in the cage again, but he's basically dead. Yeah, he's got lots of arrows in him. Straight away, 2 of the prisoners have gone straight away. And we're an hour in. Throughout this, we've got these various scenes where people like Thatcher are kind of shooting at people in the distance. It's all a little bit boring, to be honest. And Paul, Anders. We've got bits with Rita as well where she's constantly being shot at. There's explosions near her head and she keeps crying and running on. Really boring.
But the point is, it's one of those things where the hunter shoots around the person knowing, I could kill you at any moment.
Toying with
your prey. But in response, get fucked! How
does that help the viewer? Mallory and Ritter are after Chris. Mallory and Ritter are after Chris. They find Red hanging upside down from when he was attacked by Griffin. So they try and untie him, and a trap spikes Red right in the ball sack. Right in his plums.
I've drawn it in the most inefficient way ever.
That you've managed to draw the trap that impaled Red, only using 4 lines.
Yeah, because they cut him down. I've said Red was let down.
He was.
He really was.
Yeah.
He's gagged, and he's obviously saying something like, "Don't cut me down, because I'm going to get a big tree trunk in my ball bag."
Tito and Alf, because they've already dispatched Dodge, haven't they? They come upon Paul, and then there's a battle between them. And Alf grabs him and holds Paul against a tree. Paul stabs Wolfie in the eye, and Alfie gets chopped in half by Tito's mini digger. I've kind of summed the scene.
You've done it there. Yeah. But it's the way he keeps going. He goes, Alf, get out of the way! And then he could have just turned around at any point.
He could have moved at any time, but essentially Alf kind of grabs him.
But it is an ace bit, because you see his legs flop away underneath and all the guts fall out. But the best bit is what Tito says, goes, "Oh shit!"
Yes, I I wrote, oh shit.
Oh, shit.
And then Tito grabs a bazooka. I don't know where he got that from,
Yeah,
and
what do you
fires a
think?
bazooka. Mallory then fights with Paul. Mallory gets shot in his plums.
Cut a long story short, Chris meets up with Paul in a field. Hitchcock is chasing them. Chris shoots him in the balls. They're trying to set the place on fire, this big field, cornfield. Unfortunately, Hitchcock gets burnt alive, and they both bugger off, Paul and Chris.
The field burns, and Mallory with it. Yes. Ritter, I wrote this, Ritter is cutting through the jungle in his too short uniform, and he's not very good at it as well, because things keep smacking him in the face.
Oh, yeah, he gets one in his eye, doesn't he?
He's getting nowhere as well, he's crap at
There's
that.
a bit where, there's a bit of branch, I don't know why they kept this in. He's doing it, he gets a bit of branch in his eye, and he goes, oh, fuck.
Yeah,
Right, he's not acting anymore.
He's
Goes,
probably
oh,
not
shit.
enjoying it as well.
Brian Trenchard Smith. Do you get all this shit at that?
So Paul and Chris are together again now, and they kind of escape, and they finally make it. I didn't understand this. This is meant to be like a revelatory bit, like Planet of the Apes, because they make it to the coast. Exclaims, "God damn it, it's an island!" This bit I didn't understand. Because they've got to the coast, why does that mean it's an island?
I don't know.
It doesn't fucking mean it's an island, does
No,
it? It just
I'm
means
not.
it's the coast. What a twat. Paul and Chris.
To be honest, I'm a twat
Goddamn.
then, because I took it.
You want to do?
I know, you're
Unless
right.
they've been to every coast.
Mm.
Listen.
To be honest, every place is an island if you think about it.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
So they are an island.
Well, not if you're in.
Hang
on.
Get fucked.
Not if you're in. I just put could be just the coastline. Yeah. Could
Well,
be,
you were trying to be clever, but you're not.
clever.
Clever.
Paul and Ritter. Ritter turns up now. Whoa! Because who have we lost now? We've lost Mallory. Who else? Oh no, we haven't lost Tito. Yeah, we've lost Alf. So Paul and Ritter fight on the beach. Ritter says, "I'm going to take my time with you, boy." And then there's a tedious fight. Although at this point, Chris
Wrestling again, by the looks of it.
yeah,
I
they're
don't know
kind of
how it looks.
wrestling again, and then Chris runs up with Ritter's machete and chops his hands off. This is great.
Right. And the noise he makes goes on for at least 2 days.
Keep going. Just a little bit more. Thank you. Yeah, it just got a long time.
Yes.
Hey,
But
Ritter.
then you probably would when you get both your hands cut off when you're trying to shoot someone. Puts his stumps up.
His shadow stumps.
Great album by Led
The
Zeppelin.
I was going to say by the shadow stumps. Yeah, but
Anyway, yeah, he dies. He died.
I was just thinking of Hank Marvin and the shadow stumps.
Stumps. Anyway, so yeah, he dies by virtue of having no hands.
Freedom is obedience. Obedience is work. Work is life.
We have to go back slightly. Jennifer firing exploding arrows near to Rita and her running and screaming.
And you don't see her die.
But we do see her body now. With an arrow through her jaw,
Yes,
and she's kind of. There's a suggestion that Jennifer's had her wicked way with her. We don't see anything.
There's more of a suggestion. If we rewind just before, you don't see her die, but you do see Dynasty Woman go up to her and goes, "I'll make you feel some stuff you never
She's
felt
kind
before."
of caressing her with the arrow, isn't
Yeah.
she?
And also, she does one thing that is hilarious as well. Pulls the tongue out and goes,
Yeah.
which I'm guessing is meant to be sexual, but just looks like she's trying to lick the air.
Yeah.
And she's one of the better actors in the film, so
That says a lot.
yeah, it does.
Rita's body found with arrow through her jaw at that point anyway. So actually now we've only got Paul and Chris left of the prisoners.
Yeah.
I think we've still got Jennifer Thatcher and Tito in his mini digger left of the chase, the hunters.
Oh yes,
the hunties are Paul and Chris. And at this point, Paul and Chris do get chased by Tito in his mini digger, but they manage to distract him, and Paul runs up machete through Tito's head to dispatch him. Now it's all out warfare between the prisoners and guards.
It is like a war film. So this
is where it turns. Yeah, this is
definitely delivered. You think, it's been kind of sort of cheap up to now, but
so they steal
digger.
Tito's mini digger with the gun mounted on it, and they drive back to the camp.
And Olivia Hussey, I'm mentioning her name now, really doesn't seem keen on standing up in this digger and shooting a gun.
She doesn't feel.
She's just doing with one hand like that. Yeah,
yeah.
Doing one hand while trying to grab on as much as she can without falling off this fucking digger that's going 1 mile an hour. Anyway, so they break in
into the camp.
Break back into the camp with a digger.
Release the prisoners. Yeah, everybody out.
Everyone out. And then they're shooting, but all the guards seem to be outside the prison trying to get in.
Nobody seems to be there.
Why are all the guards outside the prison?
I think it's because they were
on a break.
No, I suspect it was either like a bank holiday Monday and they were probably in the local town, or it may have been just they were on like a team building session. I think they were on a team building session. They were on a training day, an away day.
It might have been that like there's a shelter and you have to go off-site to have a vape or something. They all went for a vape and goes...
And then the alarm starts going...
and the next thing you know, diggers coming through your fucking
face.
Camp. Shit happens, Bad day.
They get back into the camp anyway, because basically a message has been sent to the army to come and bomb the camp. They send aeroplanes out.
Dynasty Woman said that.
Yes.
She sent it.
Chris goes in to try and smash up all the machinery, all the kind of computers and stuff, and she has this battle with Jen that's really boring. And Chris ends up stabbing her with one of her exploding arrows. Kaboom! And she goes up, right up her chuff.
No, well, it's not. It's in her face. Her face explodes. Anyway, so, to be honest, that's all right, because I'm glad that left her kind of as a climactic person to die at the end, because she's a right twat.
Yeah, she's a horrible bitch.
And also there's some kind of weird sexual tension between Thatcher and her as well.
Yeah,
they keep going about the size of guns, and
she uses sex and exploding arrows as a weapon.
Yeah.
Oh, Thatcher! The prisoners are grabbing guns and revolting against the establishment. So they're shooting as all the guards... they come down a riverbank, and all the prisoners armed with guns now are shooting and retaliating. Paul! And this culminates in... Bearing in mind that Thatcher's been one of the kind of horrible characters throughout, Paul Ander grabs... And this is a satisfactory scene. He grabs a machine gun and takes Thatcher's fucking head off. Which is really nice.
Yeah, it literally blows the top half of his body to fucking smithereens.
Yeah.
To be honest, it's a dummy tied to a post.
That's been shot with a gun.
Yeah. Yeah. But literally, it's quite unexpected. You think they're going to face off or maybe have a fight. No, he grabs a gun, an absolutely massive machine gun, and blows the living fuck out of him.
Wonderful. Then... the ever-approaching aeroplanes that have been sent in to bomb the camp and obliterate it, they come over, drop the bombs, and the camp is destroyed. And
but most of the prisoners have gone, though, hasn't it? So
it
ends up with just... For some reason, really luckily, it ends up with just mainly the guards standing around there.
Yeah, and Paul and Chris, who are the prisoners who have escaped, our main characters, they managed to escape, which is quite nice that they actually get away from us.
They kind of... this is a weird bit. Again... awful acting. I don't know what Olivia Hussey was told, but so they're looking into the distance at a mountain, but Steve Rouse Black, the Pale's Paul, at least goes, and sort of smiles and goes, I'm going into the future. She just looks like she's looking into space like a cat looking at a ball in the air. She's fucking Christ. I don't know what she was told. Awful bit. But then there's a quote.
Oh yeah, H.G. Wells' Revolution begins with misfits. Poignant. What did you think? That's really saying something.
What the fuck?
It's really saying something.
But what do you mean Revolution begins with misfits? These are prisoners. What the fuck are you talking about?
Because these people are fighting against the establishment. And this is what it's all about, Tony. At long last, somebody's willing to stand... Steve Rosbeck, at least he's standing up for what we believe in. Nobody
Anyway.
else is.
Review the film. You go
Let's
first.
review the film. Yeah, I like the bit at the end. As the credits roll, it says, characters, people and places depicted in this film are fictitious and imaginary. No, fucking really. So if you've got a hairy uncle who coincidentally looks a lot like Alf, it's just a coincidence.
I haven't actually.
Yes. 90 minutes of Ozploitation. That has everything. It's fun. Blood, battles and a wolfman. Never lets up. Although I thought the latter half with the hunt lost its way slightly. I got a little bit bored about that, but only a little bit. Ritter was the star. I'd recommend it. In terms of Ozploitation, of what I've seen, because we reviewed Fair Game, didn't we? I think it's a better film than that.
How much did we give Fair Game? I can't remember.
I haven't got a clue. I couldn't tell you. I think it's a better film than that. A lot better film than that. I don't think it's as good as Waking Fright, but it is good fun. The music stinks.
Yeah.
But I will still recommend it. It's really good. I give it 7. Good film. Cut to Foot Corner. Here we go. 5 minutes, 42 seconds were cut to secure its 18...
5 minutes?
5 minutes, 42 seconds were cut to secure its 18 certificate. Scenes of torture, including beating of women, burning of men, broken limbs and gore, released uncut in 2013. However, Roadshow Home Video is the rare, complete and uncut version. We may or may not have watched that one. Continue.
I don't think there's much to add.
No, I
really,
don't. I don't think so.
Anyway, it's not necessarily the gore in this, really. It's mainly the just craziness of it. I like exploitation films. I like any exploitation films anyway. So generally, because most of them are just they take something on the mainstream and make it mentally better. I think Anyway, I give it 7.5 because it's good film, and I think I enjoyed it probably even more the second time I watched it. Actually, it's just nuts, and it's unexpected. It surprised me, even though it was made 40 years ago now.
That's depressing.
So 7.5. I enjoyed it. One of the few films I would properly watch again out of the ones we've watched. So watch it, you bastards.
That is Turkey Shoot. And as we always say, thank you for listening. We appreciate it, and we'll see you soon.
Enjoy and
watch the skies.